Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Good, Mike. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. You obviously know Brian Flores and Josh Boyer extremely well. I'm curious how you've seen their defense evolve this year because obviously, well, starting at the back end of last year, they've been playing some really good football.
No question. You can see the symmetry as last year kind of moved along, and then into this year. Certainly, the players now, I would say, have a total grasp on all the different things that they want them to do. They're very connected on defense. The front, the disguise, the coverage, the overall communication. And they throw a lot of things at an offensive unit. They ask their guys to do a lot of different things. So, that doesn't surprise me. Flo and Josh have a very high capacity and understanding of how to do that, and how they want to try to limit the offense or attack certain areas of the offense. And you can kind of see that with the way they're playing. They're very game plan specific. They'll play one team one way, the way they feel best about playing them, and then they'll play another team a different way, whatever they feel like is the right thing to do that week, whatever the formula might be. So there's a lot to prepare for. They got a lot of good players. They're well coached, like I've said. They've done a great job of turning the football over and then capitalizing on those mistakes and scoring on defense. They're very good on third down. That'd be a huge challenge for us in terms of just overall preparation this week. And it's our first opportunity to play a team twice. Your first opportunity to hit the division a second time, and those games are always interesting because of all the changes that happen between game one and game two. So a lot of respect for Flo and Josh. They've done a great job, and this will be a big challenge for us.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Next up, Ben Volen and Chris Ryan.
Hey, good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Ben.
Two quick ones for you today. Obviously, you worked with Tom Brady for so long, and this is your first year now with Cam Newton. How do you feel is just like your rhythm and your being on the same page with Cam as far as play calling and having a good feel for what he can do and, the rhythm of the game?
It's always each game is a different game, and I've never gone into a game feeling like you're not exactly sure exactly what you want to do, and that's no different this year. I feel very comfortable with our preparation. Cam works very hard. We work hard to try to put him in the right situations, and there's games where we get into a really good flow and execute well and are productive. And then there's been games this season where we've been more limited and haven't done as well. So I always take those things personally. It's my responsibility, and I'm accountable to the performance of the offense. And whatever we're not doing well, I certainly need to do a better job and address those things with our unit and try to improve those things. But as far as Cam is concerned, I couldn't ask anything more of him, and I feel very comfortable going into each week. And our preparation, is no different from one week than it is to the next. And we try to do everything we can to be prepared for the game. And hopefully we can improve and make progress this week as a group and play our best football down there in Miami.
And I know you're spending most of your time on the Dolphins defense this week, but I'm curious, their quarterback, Tua, did you check him out much during the pre-draft process? Have you seen him in any of your film study? Just what are your thoughts on Tua?
Yeah, I looked at him in the draft process, but I haven't seen a whole lot of him this year. Hasn't been that many crossovers with us or that we've used relative to since he's been playing. So it's obviously a very impressive, decorated player coming out of Alabama with a great career and a bright future.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Next up, Chris Ryan, then Doug Kyde.
Hey, Josh, hope all is well with you. Bill was talking about the pass offense and specifically asked about the wide receivers in his session today. And I'm curious as to what your evaluation is of the pass offense based upon where you would like it to be at this point.
There's always areas of improvement, regardless of what you look at. And the pass offense is always a function of a lot of things. Certainly not just the quarterback throwing it and or the player running the pass route. There's conversions, there's coverage reads, there's protections, there's blitz pickup. There's a lot of things that go in to making a productive passing game. And we've had times at this year where we've been productive in certain areas, whether it's third down, early downs, red zone, whatever. But then there's been other times where we just we're falling a little short. So we have to improve. It's certainly not where we would want it to be as a whole. We know that. But that's a group effort and a collective, mindset to improve. And there's a lot of people that got to execute our jobs properly. We got to put them in the right positions as coaches, and we got to execute under pressure on game day.
What have been your thoughts on the play of the three wide receivers who've been most predominantly used this year in Demir, Obi, and Nikhil? And have they given you what you needed? Has Cam had the appropriate weapons to be able to have success?
They've worked their butt off, and they're doing what they can do each week to prepare and play their best. And I couldn't ask any more of those guys with their attitude and effort and approach. And I don't worry about the this, that, and the other in terms of weapons and all that. We have enough people here to win, and we got to do a better job of executing and putting those guys in positions to be productive. But they come in here and work their butt off every week, and they've all made plays and done things to help us win. And we have to do more of that as we move forward here in the last few weeks.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Doug Kyde, then Karen Green.
Hi, Josh. When Bill was talking about the passing game not being as efficient as you guys need it to be, he mentioned route distribution. I'm wondering what that term means to you, or what it means in general.
Well, there's a lot of things it could mean. I didn't hear what Bill said, so I'm not exactly sure what he was referring to. But it's whether you're talking about spacing between players or the number of players that are actually released and put into the pattern. There's a lot of different things that could define distribution of the pattern and the route. So there's a lot of things that go into being productive, as I said. Spacing, distribution, ability to create separation against tighter coverage or man-to-man coverage, flare control, conversions based on what the coverage is to try to open up an area for another player. Like I said, there's a lot of things that go into making a productive passing game.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Karen Green, then Phil Perry.
Morning, Josh.
Good morning, Karen.
You talked about their defense and them being game plan specific, something which you do as well. I was wondering if your familiarity both with the defense and a few of the players in their defense aids you or helps you at all as you prepare.
I kind of look at this is the second game, in a division, series, and I always kind of look at this game in a different light. If you have any success in the first one, you need to look hard at what you did, but you also need to be careful because the other team's looking just as hard at it. And so, you're gonna have to be willing to look at other things beyond what you may have done to be productive in the first portion of the series. and then try to, adapt and adjust, so that you can present them with some different challenges the second game. But, knowing a few of their guys, knowing how well they're coached, they're going to be ready to go. They're going to have things that we haven't practiced or prepared for. That's just part of competing against this group. And they do such a great job of, putting their guys in positions to have an opportunity to make plays. So this week's going to be about preparation. I don't think any prior knowledge of certain things we've done or certain people is going to really help us all that much. It's just we need to dive in and study, what they've been doing the last few months here, in specific, the last so many games, how they're trying to limit the offense, get real familiar with them, know the strengths and weaknesses of their players, and understand, how they've really limited offenses with their scheme and their production. So, it's a big challenge. Looking forward to getting started with our guys tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
A couple final questions. We'll go to Phil Perry and then Greg Allman.
Hey Josh, it looks like the Dolphins have really liked to blitz, especially with no safety at times. And I don't know if they do that more than other teams in the league. But I'm curious, from your view, from what you've seen from them, what allows them to have success when they choose to do that? Obviously, kind of a risky play, but it seems like they're open to doing it relatively frequently.
Yeah, they did it in our first game as well. They kind of started the season with an aggressive mentality and mindset. I think the most important thing whenever you choose to do that is, that your defense is completely connected. The coverage guys understand what's going on, with the pressure. They know how to use their pressures to try to get a free player to the quarterback. And they're really just forcing the offense to try to handle that, a handful of snaps a game. And again, like I said, we saw it in the first game of the season. You've seen it many times since then. And again, they do a really good job of executing it when they choose to do that. And they have a few different variations off of it. It's not always the same thing. So, there's a little bit of disguise to it. There's a little bit of variation with how they show it and then they drop out of it. So, like I said, it's a challenge. It's definitely something that you need to prepare for. Every team that plays them understands that they do it. And you need to have a plan for it and be able to execute when it comes up on Sunday.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Last question to Greg Allman.
Hey, Josh, sorry to go off topic, but I'm writing about the still growing number of John Carroll alums all over the NFL. I know the game last week, the Rams, I think there were 9 between the two staffs. I just want to ask you how much you're still encountering younger guys from John Carroll and what that chemistry with the bond is like among you guys in the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's an interesting little fraternity. You're very proud of the guys that have come out of John Carroll and really made a career for themselves in the National Football League. That's not easy to do. There's a lot of hard work and grunt work required to kind of, get your foot in the door and then kind of try to swim upstream and, get to a position where you have an opportunity to really maybe impact a team or an organization. And there's been a lot of guys that have been able to do that. So, just like I said, we're when we have an opportunity to catch up with one another, it's great. We have obviously a lot of them here, which is a unique situation for us to be able to work together and take on the challenges of an NFL season. And we do communicate some during the course of the year, and most of the time when we're playing each other, it just gives us a moment to reflect on where we've been, where we've come from, and be proud of the little, like I said, the little fraternity that we're creating in the National Football League.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Thank you, Josh.
Yep. Thanks, guys.